Okay, so today we're going to talk about my travel light system. I call it my travel light with light, meaning it is my lighting system that I take along with me whenever I travel. Hi guys, this is Jiggy, a portrait and wedding photographer from the Philippines, and welcome to the channel. So as I said earlier in my introduction, I do bring light along everywhere I go, just in case there are instances in which I actually need to use it in order to make that scene more beautiful. So what do I bring along? I basically have my portable light stand. This is the Photix Padat Carbon 200. It's a very light light stand. It's small, as you can see. It folds small, so I can put it inside my luggage. And the beautiful thing about this light stand, that's why I like bringing it around, let me show you one feature, is that the legs actually have another adjustment here that allows me to move it so that I can still have it vertical in weird sloped areas. Meaning in situations in which your light stand would actually tip over, by having that option in the leg, it's very easy for me to have it vertical, so it's very practical. So the flash that I take around is my Sony f60RM, and I usually have this one. It's called the MagMod Mag Shoe, where you can mount the flash. So in any case that you do travel with friends or other people, instead of having a light stand, you can ask them to hold on to it and serve as a human light stand, because there are some areas in which you actually can't put a light stand. So, but you can use a flash so long as you're not putting anything on the floor. So this F60RM, I love it for the fact that I call it my transformers. It's very easy for me to direct the angle of the flash wherever I want to. See, it goes this way and this way. And I trigger it remotely using the Sony remote commander. So this one goes on top of my camera and it controls this one. Now, the only modifier that I bring along is one of my favorites. This is actually the MagMod Basic Kit. It comes with a mag spear, a grid, and a gel. So why is this so important for me? Well, sometimes when we're shooting at night, we want the colors to be correct, meaning if it's in the warmer tone, I also like my light being on the warmer tone. So I put that here whenever I need to use it and make it warmer. I'll show you guys some samples later. Now, I also love using the grid, because the grid, I can now direct the spill of my light. Plus, coupled with a mag spear on top of it, you can actually have soft light but still directional. So many things that you can do with just this one basic kit that would normally fit in your backpack whenever you're traveling. Now at night, sometimes I don't even bring my flash system anymore. I just have this one. This is the Photix M200R. It's a portable LED light that I really love. It's bicolor, meaning it can go from, no, it's not even bicolor, it's RGB. It can give you the color spectrum bit from red to green, but you could also use it as a standard, just a nice fill light, which I will show you guys later here on how I use this travel light system. All right, so this is a perfect example of what I was telling you. Look at how the Louvre looked like when we were there. It was raining, it was gloomy, there's literally no light. Well, of course there was light, but it was very flat. So I had my flash here, as you can see, it's on my Photix Padat, and then my mag shoe is mounted on, my F60RM is mounted on a mag shoe, and I just had a grid installed. So the output of this one is this, here. So I just added a light to give me a bit of contrast and enhancing the scene. So I'm pretty happy with this. I would have been so disappointed if I didn't bring my light, and I was given a scene like this one. Imagine traveling 14 hours, I think, from the Philippines just to go and visit the Louvre and coming up with that. That's also one of the reasons why I really do love bringing my flash, because you never know if the weather will cooperate or not. Now, another way of using this system is that instead of having the mag grid on it, I put my CTO orange, put the mag spear, and put it right behind us to create a fake sunset. So as much as we wanted a nice sunset photo, we weren't given one, so that's why we created our own. So I had my flash here on the top right. The key here is always have your flash on the very edge of your image just to create that really nice flare. So there we go. And then, again, remember I was telling you guys earlier, there's some instances in which you can't really use a light stand. And that happened to us in the Paris Opera House. We actually started shooting with a light stand and they told us that we couldn't use it, but they allowed us to use this one handheld just to make, so long as it doesn't disturb any of the guests. So one of the instances in which we used it was this. If you notice, I didn't even take out the flash yet. There it is. We just put it on that shelf, directed towards our faces, and it gave us good directional light as if it was coming from this area here, and worked seamlessly to make it look as natural as possible. So I guess you guys have been noticing that whenever I do light stuff or whenever I do light my images, I try to make it look as natural as possible. So I always make sure to look for the direction of the light, and that's where my flash will always be. Okay, so my last photo in Paris was of course the Eiffel Tower. So now we were able to use it on the light stand. Now this was a test shot without gel, so if you notice the color temperature was so different. So the final output was this one. So I had my mag spear here with a gel filter on top of my F60RM on my Photix Padat light stand, like this one, to be able to get an image like this. Okay, so when do I use my M200? Like this. So I actually held on to it, kept it from being seen by the camera, and it created a very nice rim light again here, making it look as if the light was coming from the lamppost in the back. There, yeah. And the nice thing about this portable LED lights is that I can change the color temperature to match that of existing ambient light, so it looks very, very natural. So, there are times that even during broad daylight with beautiful, beautiful weather, I would still bring out my light just to focus the light on the subject that I want to shoot, and in this case, myself. So in this next image that I'm going to show you, I had this one bare bulb just to get as much power as I can, and created that focus light on myself. So if you guys notice that the image itself is properly lit already, we had really nice weather. This was in Abisko, Sweden. But by adding the light coming here from the right and just highlighting myself or the subject, we were able to make it pop out from the scene. So I shot this one on high-speed sync. If you guys can see, this is 1/8000 f1.4 to create a very, very nice blurred background. The nice thing about having light with you all the time is that you actually can manipulate your existing ambient light to be able to get the mood that you want, such as this case. The thing that I fell in love with is when I knew that this sun was going to set properly, that it's going to give a very nice golden glow to it. But prior to that, we decided, hey, we could take some test shots first. And if you notice, I had my flash right here. And I set my exposure to control that of the sun, shot it at f22 so that I can get that burst of light, and then had my flash bare bulb facing towards us. And all I needed to do was remove it in post-processing there. See, very, very easy to remove. Now, the moment that the sun had set and it gave that golden glow, I already knew that I did not really need to shoot at f22. That's why I was able to put now the dome diffuser and the grid on top of the flash. Sorry, not the grid, but the gel, to give that nice color tone to match the color, because the sun was setting. It was in the warmer shade. I wanted my flash to be in the warmer tone too. So this was the setup now. See, you notice the sun was setting, and instead of shooting at f22, I shot it now wide open at high-speed sync just to be able to give that ethereal look. That bokeh really just makes it look even more ethereal. So this was the output. So this was the light coming from our flash. Look how nice and soft it is, and look at the color tone. It matches that of the setting sun. One of my favorite images actually from the trip. So there we go. That's how I use my travel light system. So to recap, the flash that I take is my Sony f60RM, which is triggered using my Sony remote commander. Camera that I used for all the pictures was the A7R Mark IV with a 16-35, a 50, 85, and a 24-70. My flash is mounted on the MagMod Mag Shoe, which is connected to my Photix Padat carbon fiber light stand. And my main modifier the entire time was really just my MagMod basic kit. This one really, I love this modifier. It's so much flexibility. And the ever dependable Photix M200 or M180 if you want just the bicolor version. Oh, and another thing, you know that these things actually are power banks, so it comes in handy too. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, please do subscribe to the channel. And while you're at it, click that notification bell so that every time I upload a new video, you will be notified. And if you want to see more of my images, feel free to follow me on Instagram. It's @JiggyAlejandrino. Okay, till the next video.